Lake Monroe was created 60 years ago to provide drinking water for Bloomington, Monroe County, and even some of Brown County. But how safe is it from chemical, biological, and physical toxins that can affect water sources? Clayton Baumgarth has the answer.
People are understandably on edge about toxins. In the last few months, Americans have contended with multiple toxic spills and burns, including the cleanup and removal of those hazardous wastes to neighboring states. And a heavily contested scheduled burn and logging project in Hoosier National Forest has people concerned for the sustained water quality of Lake Monroe. So how is the lake, the sole drinking source for over 128,000 citizens, protected from toxins?
We don't have a lot of heavy industry upstream from us, so the water is relatively clean to start with. And then we have our water operators here 24/7, 365 that are constantly testing the water, tweaking our treatment to make sure that it's optimal for whatever is coming in from the lake that day.
McLaughlin says they treat the water in 3 different ways. First, they have to physically remove any debris from the water.
We use bar screens, weirs, different types of media like sand and gravel, really ancient technology to get that stuff out of the water.
The chemical alum is also added in this step to clump physical materials together, which is later scooped out and disposed of. Next, they take biological contaminants out of the equation.
So your E. coli, things like that, and we use chlorine basically for that.
And finally, they protect the water from getting pipe materials in it while also disinfecting the water.
We add another chemical to make chloramine, which keeps it disinfected all the way up to our customers.
Through these steps, and most importantly, 24/7 monitoring and tweaking by waterworks staff, the city says the water is kept safe. But who protects the actual lake? According to Friends of Lake Monroe President Sherry Mitchell-Brucker, the city doesn't actually manage the lake. They're permitted to use it through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the people who created the lake in the 60s.
There's no one person or organization that can protect the lake. It's up to our entire community. Activities on farms, forests, roads, commercial properties, private properties, all of these activities have potential to degrade water quality in the lake.
Her organization is focused on protecting the lake and has developed the Monroe Watershed Management Plan to improve water quality over the next 20 years. And while the city of Bloomington will always work hard to treat the water, Mitchell-Brucker says that the real solution lies in protecting the drinking water at its source.
It's just way better to solve the problem at the source rather than trying to add a bunch of chemicals. And every time you add a new chemical, then there's another reaction that you have to take care of. And then all of that comes at cost financially too.
One of the challenges they often run into is pulling together all the different groups that have a say in what happens to protect the lake.
All of the federal agencies, the Corps of Engineers and the Hoosier National Forest, they do have a responsibility to protect water quality. But then so does the state and so does the county. And so, it's very easy to say, oh, it's their responsibility.
Friends of Lake Monroe is one of the primary groups that sued the Forest Service over concerns that their controlled burn in Hoosier National Forest would affect water quality.
We're also encouraging local lawmakers to petition the Hoosier National Forest to set aside the Lake Monroe watershed as an area that has restricted activities and to improve water quality.
They also work on sponsoring trash cleanups and youth trips to the lake.
Sassafras Audubon Society has provided us with funds to sponsor kayak trips. We take youth, underserved youth, and others out on the lake to have a firsthand experience of the lake. And we hope that that will inspire them to take action to protect the lake.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.
Lake Monroe is the largest landlocked lake in the state with a surface area of nearly 11,000 acres. Its average depth is 17 feet.